Good afternoon. It is July the 12th, 2017, and we're looking at 102 to 103 degrees in the forecast for the next 2 days right here. So definitely summer on the southern central plains. Wind is solidly from the south. We'll start with our disclaimer. Hypothetical or simulated performance results have certain limitations. Unlike an actual performance record, simulated results do not represent actual trading. Also, since the trades have not been executed, the results may have under or overcompensated for the impact, if any, of certain market factors, such as lack of liquidity. Simulated trading programs in general are also subject to the fact that they're designed with the benefit of hindsight. No representation is being made that any account will or is likely to achieve profit or losses similar to those shown. So right here is our profile. Volume is above time. If we're going to have a weak auction, it's going to be the 5-year or the 10-year. They can't let the bottom fall out of the market to move 30-year papers. So my guess is we'll be a little soft in the overnight session, but we ought to find buyers on the break. And that last rotate down was 15.5. The breakout came from 13, so 12 to 16 is going to be pretty good support for us. It's going to be our first buy area. Then 5 to 9 will be number 2. On the sell side, we've got a seller at 20. So 20, 24, sell 1. 27 to 31, sell 2. Jobless claims, 246. PPI, 0. Less food and energy, plus 0.2. And nat gas, we don't know. Previously was 72B. So the focus is going to be PPI, and PPI is a precursor, and the actual PPI number takes precedence over less food and energy. So that'll be the market's focus. I don't think jobless claims will play. Then we'll be back to the direction of the E-mini. The next thing that hits the market, then the 30-year auction, and at some point the market will trade up off the 30-year auction, in my opinion. Looking at the E-mini, which is still trading, 45 is a low volume number right there. Then obviously 50, 51 is going to be a pretty important number. Our recent new high, we're close. The market right now is strong, and we started a new distribution up that's led to new highs, so there's not a reason to think that we're not going to make new highs here into the close. But be that as it may, and we'll adjust it tomorrow. Sell 1's 45 plus or minus. Sell 2 is 50 plus or minus. On the buy side, we're at 43, so 38 to 40 is buy 1. And 34, 36 is buy 2. So how do you get your into a frame of mind where you can take these trades? We have certain areas where we are favored structurally to take trades. Then we get into a setup that we like. Then we've got our trigger, and we've got our entry management and exit rules. And probably the most uncomfortable thing for you all to become at ease with is our calls for the market, whether they're going to work or not. And once you start to get comfortable that our first trade of the day is pretty accurate, then you can start to focus in on taking the trades with your setup, your trigger, etc. Okay, 53, 53.04 on the bond is number 1. 7 to 11, sell 1. 15 to 19, sell 2. Bullish news today for the bond. On the buy side, we have 20 to 24 is number 1. 13 to 17 buy 1. And 5 to 9 buy 2. Gold. Today's news was not as bullish for gold because they're concerned or worried about inflation. So higher low, higher high. The market can trade up off of the F1 information. On our F2 information, especially if we take out the YZ, we just go to a split. Pretty easy to see us get back retesting the 15 to 17 area. So why don't we put a buy at 15 to 17 and then 10 to 12. On the sell side, we're at resistance right now. We had 23 to 25. I'll just leave it at 23.25. Sell 1, 28 to 30. Sell 2. And looking at crude oil, higher low, higher high. Crude's all over the map. The fundamentals remain pretty weak, but again, when you get down to the cost of production, people are really hesitant to sell it at that point. So right now, like we've got a seller 47 to 48, and we've got a buyer below 43 as it stands on crude, and no one's fallen over themselves to get long or short. And Pat had a pretty good call in crude on his stats today. And structurally, where did the market stop? Almost at that high volume number, most recent in the market's memory. Almost. Close. We've got our wrap and D period. So structurally in D period, we've got a seller at 85 to the buck, and we've got a buyer below 30. So that's about a 50 tick spread. So 75 to the buck, sell 1. 25 to 50, sell 2. On the buy side, the buck to 25, buy 1. 44.50 to 75, buy 2. Okay, Canada raised their interest rates today. That did hurt the euro. Get paid more money on Canadian paper than you will on the EU. And if you don't live in Canada and don't suffer the ravages of inflation, you can do all right on that play. If you live in Canada and buying Canadian paper, you're treading water, maybe losing money if inflation gets out of hand. But again, you know, when you're in the fixed income market, and I've run since '82 a couple of small cash funds, whatever the highest interest rate is that meets your investment standards, at that moment in time is where you go. And inflation is what it is. A dollar today is a dollar today, and you try to maximize the dollars. So nobody in the fixed, they just don't pay attention to inflation as much as you think they would. We get a lot of talk about it in the financial press and all the ravages that it does, but if you need income, you need income. Okay, on the euro, higher low, higher high, but we basically sold all day. And so when you get to the real world, it's a little bit different than you hear talked about in the press and the rest of it. You know, it is a search for yield. Okay, 65, 75, sell 1. 90 to the buck, sell 2. Looks like 30 to 40 is buy 1. And we'll make 114 even, 114.10 buy 2. Give it some room. But start thinking, if I were running a portfolio or something like this, what would I be doing today? And you'll find that they're probably going to be doing the same thing that you're doing today. They just have more money or more of a need to do that. And that'll start to help you. We're always worried about some institution handing us our head in a basket, but it really doesn't work that way. The institutions have to make the same decisions we do. They just have more money than we do. With that said, I will bid you adieu. I'll see you bright and early in the morning. I still have some catch up to do. Thank you, Chuck. Well, I'm always sound. Ha ha. And we'll see you bright and early in the morning.